Hello folks, this is Steve A. Nothing in this episode is a promotion, nor is it a recommendation. No, we're not going to look at Slashdot. It's after midnight. Yesterday was Tuesday. Yesterday was Microsoft Patch Tuesday, August 2025 edition. Microsoft today released updates to fix more than 100 security flaws in its Windows operating systems and other software. At least 13 of the bugs received Microsoft's most dire critical rating, meaning they could be abused by malware or malcontents to gain remote access to a Windows system with little or no help from users. Thank you, Krebs. Now, every time it gets to be Patch Tuesday, do I download and update my computers? I wait at least 10 days. Patch Tuesday was on the 12th of August, yesterday. I typically don't do anything, and I have a couple of machines that I do an exploratory test on around the 16th, 17th, 18th. And by the 20th, when I see those are okay, they're throwaways, they're small images, I can reinstall them. Yeah, they're backed up first. Then I do my main computers around the 20th of each month. Now, there's Windows, what used to be called Windows Defender, and another one, Windows Malicious Software Removal Tool. It doesn't perform exactly the same function as the other one, and it's actually been 3 months since they updated that. And it turns out, I checked today, the Tuesday, yesterday, because it was Patch Tuesday, and I looked to see, and oh, they finally got around to updating that one this month. Now, if you actually do the monthly security updates, it will detect that there's a new one of this Windows Malicious Software Removal Tool, download it, run it in the background, install it. But I preempt that because I'm not going to do a Windows update for another 10 days at least. And when I download it and run it, it installs it and does the first check. I downloaded it from this page. See the download thing here? Version 5.135, there's the full name. It's only 85 megabytes. It's only 85 megabytes because this is an installer that goes and gets more. Don't be fooled into, how could it be an effective tool if it's that small? It's actually an installer. And when you install it the first time, it then also runs the fully downloaded product, which is when you click on it to install it, like on this machine, it may take as much of a minute before it'll actually come up. That's because it's downloading a bunch of stuff and installing that first to give you the full app. I'm explaining that in case you don't understand those things. If you have automatic updates for Windows turned off, Windows Update automatically downloads and runs this in the background. Okay. So this is where I downloaded it to on this machine. So that's what it's doing. Okay, I screwed up again. I don't know if you can see that. It's not doing what I wanted. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to take the address. I'm going to click the download. And then I'm going to bring it down onto my machine into that new folder. I have an idea about what's going on. Now it's only 85 megabytes, so it's already there. And now I'm running it for the first time from this position on the machine. This copy is identical to the one I just clicked on a moment ago that was one folder up. I'm hoping you can see this. Windows protected your PC. I can't make this larger. Microsoft Defender SmartScreen we'll get to what that is in a minute. Microsoft Defender SmartScreen is a security feature in Windows, Internet Explorer, which doesn't exist anymore, and Microsoft Edge that helps protect users from malicious websites and downloads. It does this by checking URLs and downloaded files against a constantly updated list of potentially harmful sites and software and warns users when they encounter something suspicious. That's the AI overview, and it's just quoting Microsoft. Now down here it says don't run. But if I click on more info, you see I have a new button. Running this app might put your PC at risk. And it names it correctly, and it says the publisher is Microsoft Windows. But apparently, Microsoft Defender SmartScreen is too stupid. Oh, wait a minute, it could be a forgery. I'm going to show you how asshole they are at Microsoft. So I'll say don't run. Now we're going to go up one folder. Here it is again, but I downloaded it earlier. Double click. This is from the system. SmartScreen has already said this one is okay. It's identical to the one I just clicked on that it said it's not good. And if I click yes, it'll go ahead and actually run it. And it's already actually installed, but this is the installer. And the installer is smart enough that once it starts up, it sees that it's already installed, and the app will run immediately. Sort of. It's going and getting any updates. It's calling home. It's about to show itself. Here it is. And I can say next and start running it. The one I actually ran a moment ago. This one here was my actual download. I've forgotten whether I've actually tried to start it before. Let's try it. No, what I did was I downloaded this, but I didn't run it from here. I copied it up one folder and I ran it there. That one is already okayed by Windows Defender SmartScreen. Now, I'm not trying to confuse you. I'm trying to show you how stupid Microsoft is. This is a security checker. And look at the bullshit they're doing. Well, it doesn't matter where it is. Every time something new gets run, even though it's absolutely identical to another one that was on your computer almost in the same folder, almost, we have to do this anyway, because it would take too much to be smart about it. And the only reason it's approving it, now watch what I do. I have to click on More Info to trigger Run Anyway. I give it permission at system level. I did that as administrator. It's actually going to see if there's any updates to see if it's been fully downloaded. It's about to come up. It did. I'm not going to run it. I'm going to cancel. Now watch me click on it again. Correct. Now let me go up to X. Remember, this has been run once. But I said don't run. But we'll change that. We'll say run anyway. I give it system permission. It's going and calling home. It's about to show itself. There it is. I'll cancel it, and now I'll run it again. Did you notice something didn't happen? Once I run this file from whatever its position is, SmartScreen will object to it in this case, this month. The last time SmartScreen objected to Microsoft Defender to a new download of this, the malicious software removal tool, the last time it tripped over itself in this stupid manner was almost 2 years ago. So all the intervening, usually monthly updates simply ran. SmartScreen had no trouble with them. Now, here's what I think. Big layoffs at Microsoft. Microsoft is laying off roughly 9,000 employees in its latest round of job cuts, which is less than 4% of its global workforce. These layoffs are part of a broader effort to streamline the company and reallocate resources toward, this is the bullshit that the company gives as news releases. And before the 9,000, there was another big layoff. CNBC, July 2nd, 2025. Why did Microsoft fire 15,000 employees? Microsoft announced another round of layoffs, bringing the total to over 15,000 this year. Now, why did I bring this up? The last time I downloaded an update to this and then ran it and got SmartScreen to object to it. Now, I remember I've already let it go. It was like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So there's been a massive layoff at Microsoft, and this is one of the spillover effects in my opinion. Yeah, we're going to let AI take care of all that stuff. AI is so smart. Windows SmartScreen protects against Windows KB, the app I showed you. SmartScreen, AI. Windows SmartScreen, a feature of Microsoft Windows, helps protect your PC by checking downloaded files against lists of known malicious software. That's the propaganda. They're quoting Microsoft. If the file, and they name it, is being downloaded from an unrecognized source. No, I downloaded it directly from Microsoft. The same address that I've been doing it for the last 10 years. The exact same URL. Exactly. Unchanged. Is being downloaded from unrecognized source, or if its reputation score isn't established. SmartScreen might trigger a warning like Windows protected your PC. Reputation score is an established error with Microsoft Defender SmartScreen. When you see the message, reputation score isn't established, from Microsoft Defender SmartScreen, it means that the downloaded file, lacks sufficient reputation with Microsoft. This is total, absolute bullshit. 100% bullshit. Why? What's the simple logic? This is why when I worked for that internationally known, internationally operating IT company, this is why they didn't want me to retire. I see through this crap immediately. I told you that I started it, the same downloaded file, copied it twice to 2 other places, and when I started from the one of the 3 places the first time, SmartScreen interferes. But if I say, go ahead and do it anyway, I'll take the chance, then it says, okay, for that file at that location on my hard drive. And all this other stuff is bullshit. The person who wrote this didn't understand what they were writing about. They just blurted it out. That's Microsoft. That's Microsoft. All the way through. All the way back to Windows 1. Unknown or untrusted publisher. It even said that it doesn't know who published it, and it says Microsoft on it. It has a security certificate signature on it. Didn't you check it? Did they forget to put it on this month? Big layoffs. We'll let AI do it. But when people go out the door, they may just delete this here, delete that there, and AI has to try to figure out what the humans were doing by rote for the last 10 years, but now they can't figure it out because some important step or clue is not there. Who knows? I'm not saying that's what happened, but if you follow the news where people have been fired from a job and then they log in from home and sabotage their former employer's website and then get arrested for it when they figure it out. I'm saying those things happen. I don't know if it happened in this case, but I'm thinking of all the possibilities. Massive layoff this year. If the publisher isn't known to Microsoft security databases, or if the software isn't digitally signed by a trusted certificate, you mean Microsoft would actually have published it without its certificate on there? Are you kidding me? Massive layoffs. We need to skip that this month. We don't have enough people. AI can't figure it out. Now let me show you that I know what I'm talking about. Let me click on this one again. This is the dialog saying it requires administrative privilege to run. Now I'm going to do a new folder. I'm going to copy. No, I'm just going to push it into there. It's the same one I ran a moment ago, but now it's in a new location on my hard drive. Let's see what happens. I started as a software tester. I got quite a reputation. The developers listened to my defects. Okay, so it put something on that one. That physical one. So let me cut it, bring it back here, paste it there, try to run it. It's okay. Say no, we don't want to run it. Now let's put a new folder called Z, and now let's copy it into there and try to run it. So somehow the system has woke up to it. Now I'm going to do a new one. I'm going to take the address. See, I'm showing you how I do stuff. Here it is. Let me refresh the page. Let me download it. Put it in the new folder. It downloads very quickly. Now we're in ZZ. We double click on it and it's purple. Do you see what I just did? So that all of that hyperbole about how it checks digital certificates, scans them, reputation, it's all bullshit. There is some other factor. I think in this case it's simply defaulting to the fact that I took responsibility. Screw you, is what the system is saying. Massive layoffs at Microsoft since January. This hasn't happened with this software for a few years. Massive layoffs. Now I got one more thing I want to show you. This will sound like it's a different topic, but it's not. You remember I'm ranting a few moments ago. Massive layoffs were letting AI take over. Microsoft bids for Meta AI engineers. In the intensifying AI talent war, Microsoft is actively targeting Meta's AI engineers and researchers with aggressive recruitment tactics. They're offering some of the Meta AI scientists huge millions. Business Insider 14 hours ago. Matching Meta's offers is no small feat. The social media company has been making, this is Microsoft, has been making nine-figure offers for top AI talent. Meta is offering $100 million signing bonuses to his engineers. And Meta has recently hired AI researchers with pay packets as high as $250 million, if you believe Business Insider. All right? Now keep that uppermost in your mind as I now read something else. Just as it had at B-Sides Las Vegas. You know, there's these hacker shows and they give the people who show new hacks rewards, monetary rewards. Earlier in the week, the risks of artificial intelligence dominated the Black Hat USA 2025 Security Conference on August 6th and 7th in Las Vegas. We couldn't see all the AI-related talks, but this is the person writing the original article in SC Media. But we did catch 3 presentations that are the most promising ones, plus an off-site panel discussion about AI presented by somebody at a place called 1Password. It's a lady. The upshot: large language models, AI, ChatGPT, and AI agents, like AI Overview, are far too easy to successfully attack, and many of the security lessons of the past 25 years have been forgotten in the current rush to develop, use, and profit from AI. We, not just the cybersecurity industry, but any organization bringing AI into its processes, using it, needs to understand the risks of AI and develop ways to mitigate them before we fall victim to the same sorts of vulnerabilities that we faced when Bill Clinton was president. Now the one person at one password person is this next gal. AI agents are like toddlers, babies. You have to follow them around and make sure they don't do dumb things, said Wendy Nather, Senior Research Initiative Director at 1Password, and a well-respected cybersecurity veteran. We're also getting a whole new crop of people coming in and making the same dumb mistakes we made years ago. In other words, all these AI modeling geniuses have zero background in cybersecurity. And it may very well be that the routine line people who have been cyber conscious running the company, watching out for things that could be an attacker and being on their toes are the ones laid off. So there's a vacuum being filled by another cybersecurity vacuum. That's what this is saying. And that means this coming year is going to be truly hell for you and me. And I do mean you and me. Because we're going to be overrun. Because I remember all the way back to the first ones. I've made videos about it. And she's not a young chick. That's her. This might have been her. This is the show they were talking about. So there she is. She was at that show. Wendy Nather has been working in the industry for over 25 years. And it goes through all the stuff that she's been involved in. And she says, big danger ahead starting right now. Billions are chasing AI, and at the same time, we're going to be easily attacked on a daily basis. I'm translating basically what she and others are saying. Now I'm going to put a little bit of memory and nostalgia into it. Where was that article? When Bill Clinton was president, 1993 to 2001, Israelis spied on his computers. Wikipedia, Mossad. Let me find it again. According to journalist Daniel Halper, Israel blackmailed U.S. President Clinton in 1998 with the release of incriminating conversations with Monica Lewinsky in order to secure the release of Israeli spy Jonathan Pollard. Israel is said to have obtained the Lewinsky recordings by monitoring White House phone lines. Now, this will sound like it's off the topic. So how did the Israelis get into the White House to plant something in the telephone exchange equipment of the White House? And is that believable? Israel leader in cell phone spying. All right, here's The Guardian, 7 days ago. This is the first time I'm doing the search. We're going to keep it very modern. They want me to pay. Are they going to? They're not going to let me see it. Here we go. 1 million calls an hour. Israel relying on Microsoft Cloud for expansive surveillance of Philistines. Revealed, the Israeli military undertook an ambitious project to store a giant trove of Philistines' phone calls on Microsoft servers in Europe. One afternoon in late 2021, Microsoft's chief, first time I'm reading it, this was published on August 6, 2025. The CEO of Microsoft met with the commander of Israel's military surveillance agency, Unit 8200. I've made videos about that. On the spy chief's agenda, moving vast amounts of top secret intelligence material into the U.S. company's cloud. In other words, they've got so much they can't keep it on their own computers. That's, I'm guessing. Meeting at Microsoft's headquarters near Seattle. A former chicken farm turned into high-tech campus, the spy master Yossi Sariel won Nadella's support for a plan that would grant Unit 8200 access to customized and segregated areas within Microsoft's Azure cloud platform. Segregated areas. Why would it be segregated? So no one else can get in there and spy on them and spy on what they're spying on other people? Armed with Azure's near limitless storage capacity, Unit 8200 began building a powerful new mass surveillance tool, a sweeping and intrusive system that collects and stores recordings of millions of mobile phone calls made each day by Philistines in Gaza and the West Bank and Syria and Lebanon and Jordan and Cyprus and Turkey. No, that's not in the article. I don't know how many years ago it was now, 6 or 7. I met somebody at Jordan Lake, a young Israeli, who had come to the States to work. He was from a village near where I was during the 1970 Yom Kippur War at the Lebanon-Israel border. I was up on the hill in the kibbutz, and his village was down below. When he found out that that's where I had been, he was excited. I asked him what brigade he was in the military. He was past the age for the active service, and then he would be obviously old enough for the reserves. Call up at least once a year. He said that initially they rejected him because of a physical disability. But he applied for an exception. Pardon me, I've got something in my throat. And what they did is they didn't assign him to a combat brigade, which would be the usual thing. He joined the intelligence unit. Why would they make an exception like that for this young man who had heart problems? Because of the village he was from. What was special about the village he was from? It was a village that combined Jews that had immigrated from North Africa and local Bedouins, Arabs. Now the Bedouins speak Arabic. That's what they talk at home. And his parents, when they came from North Africa, in his case, Morocco and Libya, his father from Morocco, his mother from Libya, of course they spoke Arabic. On the street. So this young Israeli grew up speaking fluent Arabic in order to sometimes talk to his grandparents and sometimes to talk to his neighbors, the Arabs in the town, and the kids he went to school with. So when he told me that, I asked him, this is exactly what I asked him. Did they ever have you listen? He said, what do you mean listen? I said, well, you were in intelligence. I mean, when we fought to get back up on the Hermon, so we would have a listening stations, listen into Lebanon, listen into Syria, listen into Jordan, listen into the West Bank. Oh, he said, yes. Especially the arrest operations. That's when the army would go into a town to get the terrorists and arrest them. They would be listening to the cell phone traffic to see what the locals were doing as the Israeli army is arriving. Do you understand that? Now, different story. I also did a video about on one of those arrest operations, when they got to the terrorist home, there was a shootout. And the guy they were after escaped into the dark because they had arrived at night. But two of his buddies were captured or killed. But he was really a hot item. So there were 3 patrols moving around in the streets in the dark there, trying to find him. And then, according to the story, the guy had jumped over the wall around a house, which meant it was somebody who had some money, just like in Mexico. And as the terrorist lay there in somebody's garden, he took his cell phone out and he just dialed a secret number to let his headquarters know that he was okay, meaning alive. Because probably they had already heard that the Israelis were after him. And 5 minutes later, 2 of the 3 patrols arrived right there and they killed him in a shootout. I've explained to you why, from the very beginning of cell phones, the Israelis were the #1 researchers on how to intercept, decode, and analyze for security purposes. I asked this fellow I met, did you ever listen? And after I explained what I meant, he said, oh yes, especially arrest operations. And why would he be listen? Why would they have him listen? Because he was a native Arabic speaker. Yes, a native Hebrew speaker, but a native Arabic speaker. Really fluent. Not what I learned in grade school for fun. That he would talk to his grandparents with. From Morocco and Libya. So that's how they were able to figure out how to get into Bill Clinton. I'm wondering how the Israelis persuaded him. Was it money? Now you think that I'm really off the topic I started with. But remember, I started with what I think was shit behavior by a supposed security feature of Microsoft. I then jumped to an article that with all this, after the AI is going to take over for all those living bodies that they got rid of, Microsoft and others, they're bidding hundreds of millions of dollars for supposed geniuses in AI who know nothing about security. And we're recapitulating, essentially, the kind of things that were going on way back at the time of Clinton, and that's how the Israelis got into the phone switching network inside the White House. Because there was no cybersecurity. And some of the leading thinkers in cybersecurity are saying is that what's going on with AI has turned us all the way back to then or earlier. And at the same time, this guy who was born in India a Telugu speaker, why wouldn't he tell the Israelis to buzz off? Are they offering him enough money or are they offering him something else? I don't know. I stumbled onto this, which was published a week ago, just as a part of my wandering mind flow of making this video. Revealed here for the first time in an investigation by The Guardian in England. I've met somebody who was a feature writer at The Guardian long ago when I was in Israel. With the Israeli Philistine publication, I've never heard of it, Plus 972 magazine, and Hebrew language outlet Local Call, the cloud-based system, which first became operational in 2022, enables Unit 8200 to store a giant trove of calls daily for extended periods of time. So in other words, once AI begins sifting out, they have something happening they're suspicious about. They use AI search to go through, but then they need people like the guy I met to actually listen to the calls that the AI picks out to see if they are in fact candidates for something they want to be on guard about or they need to know in order to be ahead of the game. Like the way I said, did they ever ask you to have you listen in? Microsoft claims that Nadella was unaware of what kind of data. Oh, here we go. Microsoft now claims, after signing the deal, that the CEO was unaware of what kind of data Unit 8200 planned to store in Azure, in their cloud. But a cache of leaked Microsoft documents, massive layoffs. And interviews with 11 sources from the company and Israeli military intelligence reveals how Azure has been used by Unit 8200 to store this expansive archive of everyday Philistine communications. According to Unit 8200 sources, the cloud, if somebody in Unit 8200 is whispering this out, they're doing it intentionally. They're doing it intentionally. The cloud-based storage platform has facilitated the preparation of deadly airstrikes and has shaped military operations in Gaza and the West Bank. Does that sound any different? Oh, you mean they're listening in on the Hamas terrorists? Is that how they keep figuring out where the guys who did the murders were, and one after another they're bombing them and getting them? You've been following the news that way, right? You know that they made the mistake of actually self-video recording themselves on Meta and all those places as they were kidnapping people and shooting people and stabbing people in Israel, the Jews killing them. Oh yeah, and then they were able to match them up with identity cards issued by Hamas, and then they start listening for them after they find out what their telephone number was, so that they can eventually track down where they are, pretending they're journalists or food distribution workers, but they're really Hamas military killers. And then bang, too bad for anybody standing near them. You should know who you're with and stay clear of the murderers. Thanks to the control it exerts over a Philistine telecommunications infrastructure, Israel has long intercepted phone calls in the occupied territories. But the pervasive, total, absolutely getting it all system allows intelligence officers to play back the content of cellular calls made by Philistines, capturing the conversations of a much larger pool of ordinary civilians. So in other words, they may actually hear somebody saying, oh, I saw so-and-so they're going down there. I think they're setting up an ambush. They're not military. They saw the guys go by with the rocket launchers and the machine guns. And now the Israelis are even listening in on that as a forewarning to save their own guys. You have to draw a line in the sand, folks. They tried to murder me several times. I haven't forgotten. They tried to murder me and my friends several times, and I'm not counting during the war in '73. And I haven't forgotten. Intelligence sources with knowledge of the project say Unit 8200's leadership turned to Microsoft after concluding it did not have sufficient storage space, hard drives, system buildings, electricity, or computing power on the military servers to bear the weight of the entire propaganda population's phone calls. Several intelligence officers from the unit, which is comparable to the U.S. National Security Agency in its surveillance capabilities, said that a mantra emerged internally that captured the project's scale and ambition: 1 million calls an hour. The system was built to sit on Microsoft servers behind enhanced layers of security, and maybe with no AI, or maybe with advanced AI that did have security. Who knows? Remember what I said 15 minutes ago? Developed by the company's engineers with Unit 8200's instructions, the leaked Microsoft files suggest that a large proportion of the unit's sensitive data may now be sitting in Microsoft's data centers in the Netherlands and Ireland. That's how you listen to the cell phone conversations in Lebanon, Syria, Jordan. I know where that picture is taken. It's most likely on Mount Hermon, the highest point in the Middle East. All I did is I started with showing you the inconsistencies of this. See what it just did? It's a fresh download. It's waiting for me to make a decision. It's calling home. You see the blue circle? I'm going to let it run for a moment and see what it's doing. It's calling home. I'll bet it's actually installing or checking to see if it's been installed. It's looking to see if all of the files have been updated that support it on my machine. And I just say don't run. And when I start it again, because I did not take the responsibility as a human for the safety, it still objects. And that's how this all started. You see how far afield it goes, and you see how interconnected a lot of things are if you know a little bit of shit about what's going on in the world and can remember it all. I would say I've been blessed with some of that. I never had sex with that woman. Who said that? Steve A. before you. Letting his mind wander. Some nostalgia. Some ranting. Saying see you in '73.